Good morning, brothers and sisters in Christ Jesus. Um, I wanted to ask a question. Whatever happened to women trying to be beautiful? I'm saying the makeup, some of them got surgery, and they were beautiful, but nowadays the makeup is demonic. You can make yourself to look like a demon. All right. And they are into this thing right now. It's a trend or something where this has been going on for like a couple of years now, but it's more than that these days. You know why? That is because they are demonic. They make their face look like an ugly demon. Y'all remember, if you saw something ugly or somebody ugly, it's like just like God said, they will call evil good and good evil. And if you look at somebody that put that makeup on and you tell them that looks horrible, they get offended. Well, you don't look like that in real life. But I mean, why would you want to get makeup where you look like a horrible demon, a ugly demon? And I know what's going on. Like the word of God says, they call evil good and good evil. I can tell you they call beauty ugly and ugly beautiful these days. We used to want our makeup on, right, when we were young because we wanted to look better. We wanted to look beautiful. But now they are not trying to be beautiful. They are trying to be ugly and trying to get us to accept that. Stand your ground. You don't want to look like that. And then my daughter be cracking up because I be telling her, if somebody looks like this thing right here, it looks horrible or a creature, stay away from that person. We was watching The Mummy yesterday with Tom Cruise. It was good though, kind of. You know how they never make the movie like the first and second one. The first and second one was good. The third one too, but this over here with Tom Cruise, it was corny. Thank God I didn't go to the movies. It wasn't all the way corny, but it was crazy. Um, Tom Cruise was gorgeous as usual. I don't know. I always liked Tom Cruise when I was real little, like in the 80s. And he was always cute, and his nose makes him. But it's like somebody threw together a movie, and because Tom Cruise is a well known actor, they put him in it so that they can make millions. So I really didn't want to see that. But they had a woman in there that was dressed horrible. And she had glowing eyes. I'm sorry, I was just talking. Anyway, I was just talking, and you can hear the cage they try to break out of jail that Faith put him there, in there. But anyway, I was saying, and another thing, whatever happened to people that's literally trying to find God? I'm talking about little kids. They are literally trying to find Him. Now, back in the day, if I had the gift that I have now, and I know the Lord the way I know now, I still would want to get Him to accept me when I was a child. That's why when I was about 4, that's the first time I heard about God. I heard the word God. And I asked my sister, I said, well, who was that? And she broke it down to me. And she told me he's stronger than Batman and Superman. I said, he's stronger than Superman. And I sat up that whole night. I remember looking up at the ceiling, but the lights were off. But I spent my time at that, staring at the ceiling, thinking about a God. God is stronger than everything, and He's real. Now, these days, many kids are not interested in Him. Some of them is. The Lord brings them to me, but, now they're not interested in God. They're interested in being Him. You see the difference? I'm sure y'all saw it. If I had told people that I have the relationship with God Himself and that He's interested in me, uh, and it was back in the day, I would have ran me down to see Him because I was up the whole night when I was about 4, and I kept God, 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 and I'm like, okay, well, that's His name, God. But when the Lord started coming to me, showing me different things, like, looked like the moon swell up. There was a rapist out. I was 11. And there was a moon. And I was talking to God. And He said, I'll be with you always, even into the end of time. Look up. And I just happened to say, yeah. So where's that light coming from? Girl, let me tell you, girls and boys, when I saw that moon, it looked like I could stand up on the roof and touch it. It was the roof of the bank. I remember that. And it had a face on it. Well, God knows that I used to talk to the moon. But I wasn't really talking to the moon. I knew enough not to idolize it. But I said, Lord, I just feel like you're listening to me. When I looked up, that moon was gigantic, and it looked like it was literally peeking out of oh my God, I remember. It was in Wallenboro, New Jersey. It was on it and it was a bank. You know how low banks is. So the moon was gigantic. When I happened to look up the following the light, it was gigantic. So I started talking to God. I said, God, what's going on? He said, just walk home. And he started following me home. The moon was between the trees. It was, and I'm not talking about, y'all know how y'all see the moon and it look like and it's gigantic between trees. It was like that, but it was big as day, and it looked like it was looking at me. I told everybody I knew, and I told some kids when I was in my early 20s. I was like 24. And I told the kids about that. They laughed and asked me, can you tell me about the moon again? I forget what happened, but they saw something supernatural too. And they start knocking at my door. Please open the door. I need to talk to you. I lived on the second floor and I had an intercom. So I knew who was coming and who wasn't. And uh, I finally talked to them. I forget, it's been years, plus I just woke up, but they saw something supernatural too. That was God trying to prove to them that He was real, and He tried to come to them through what He showed me when I was about 11. And they laughed at it and went home. Oh well, she's nice, but she's a little crazy. So I forget. I'll tell y'all one day when it comes to me, but they came over looking crazy. I saw them. I was looking out the window and I saw them, and I said, "What's wrong with them?" And they kept saying, "She saw something supernatural." That's what they were saying. Please open the door. We got to talk. So I waited till the next day, and she told me what it was, and it was supernatural. That was God trying to let them know that he's really real and that I was not lying about that. I'm telling you, it followed me all the way home. And that day I started crying because my sister was 14, which looked old to me, and I was 11, and mom wanted me to go out at 10:30 at night when a rapist was out. And that's when I talked to God and I started crying. Mommy don't love me. She'd rather something bad happen to me just to go look for my sister that's 14. She's way older than me. And I was talking to God, Lord, please. And I said, Lord, please, make mommy love me and all this other stuff. And he told me he will be with me always, even until the end of time. And then he told me to look up. And I looked and said, where's that light coming from anyway? And backed up, and it looked like the moon peeked over the roof and looked right at me. Then it looked like it was coming out of something invisible. And it looked like it was in midair. And the Lord protected me that night because it was about 2 miles or 3 miles that I was walking. And as soon as I got to the end of the street where I had to turn down, when I got ready to turn down the street, the moon started bouncing like a ball, but not on the ground. It started shaking, but each time it shook, it started going up and up and up. Now, the moon I saw earlier was a full moon, and yeah, it was a full moon, and it was a different color. Like, we thought that was the blood moon back then. And but when it kept bouncing, it kept going up and up and up. And two clouds hit it when it went to the sky. Two clouds hit it, and then it moved, and it was a full moon, but it was the regular color of a full moon, not the real orange one that I saw. But it was the same moon, but it went in the sky. And the devil was after me like crazy. I did a lot of suffering at that age, and the Lord was coming out showing me that He is real. I always talk to him. I didn't know a personal relationship. I didn't know anything about that. But that would have boosted me. And what I saw, it boosted my belief in him because I used to get mad at him and tell him, we ask you for help and all that. And, all I'm asking is, for you to help me. These are testimonies. When I was younger like that and seeing stuff, I was 11, maybe 11 and a half. And the Lord was with me. And then I remember mom had got angry with me. It was like every little thing I did was wrong. It was the devil because, and like a child, you're going to go back and tell your mom, especially if they told you about God and then something that's supernatural happened. And while she was starving me, I had went 5 days straight without food. And while she was starving me, I was standing in back of a dumpster in Willingboro, New Jersey. It was about a 7-Eleven. And while I was talking to God before, He told me that again He would be with me. And He asked me what was that in my hand. I was leaning up against the dumpster, and I was fiddling with something, talking to Him. And He said, "What is that in your hand?" And I said, "Yeah, I didn't know who was talking to me." I said, "Yeah, what is that in my hand?" And when I looked, I told y'all the story. It was Pies Connected, and it was, French apple. Everything in that pie I needed because mom was literally starving me. She'd have went to jail for that, but I'm telling you, I don't understand the interest of these kids these days. I don't understand that when you see something supernatural, and it happens, they're not really interested in that. Pray for our children. I love y'all, but I had to, say that. But God be with y'all. I love y'all. Bye bye.